Welcome to the Daily Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Meredith. I've led my family on a transformative health journey for over a decade, and now I help other families do the same. This is a place where busy moms can learn about healthy living. I hope that what you learn here helps you feel empowered to take the next step in your family's health journey. Hello, Dr. Hockings. Thanks for joining me on the Daily Wellness Podcast.
Hey, you're welcome. Great to be here.
Yeah. So a lot of the listeners that are going to be checking out this episode know somebody with type 2 diabetes. It is so prevalent today that we all know somebody that has type 2 diabetes. And most of us have either heard or because of what we have seen in the people that we know with type 2 diabetes, we believe that once you have that type 2 diabetes diagnosis, that is just something you have for the rest of your life. I mean, I can think of like no one that I know personally with type 2 diabetes who is actually trying to get rid of the diagnosis or heal. They're just trying to manage it. And so I know that like we're talking to you today about your patent approach to diabetes reversal. With 35 years of experience in functional medicine and wellness care, you are passionate about giving people real hope for their health and vitality. So I am very intrigued by this, and that is where we are going with this conversation. But I want to back up a little bit and just get to know you and kind of find out why you are so passionate about this topic. So what do you want us to know about you today?
Yeah, well, I mean, it runs in our families. That's why my wife and I decided to start this company 16 years ago. I've been in healthcare 35 years now. The first 18 and a half years, we built and sold 4 wellness centers in Southern California. Got tired of that whole thing. We say, no, let's tackle diabetes because it runs in our family. We know it's reversible with proper lifestyle changes. But 16 years ago, there was not a program somebody could join that showed people exactly what to eat and not eat with no BS, what supplements to take, what exercise to do, provide coaching and accountability and guarantee results. So we just created it. And it kind of took us a long time to kind of crack the code on it. Then we applied for our patent, got our patent approval, which was great. Now we have the only patented system in the world that reverses type 2. And it all because of I had an aunt who died of it when I was younger. And my wife's dad, he just passed away a couple of years ago from diabetes complications. He's one of those guys that just didn't want to change his lifestyle. No matter how much help we tried to give him, he's like, no, I'll keep taking the meds. I don't want to change my lifestyle. And, he paid the price for it. But so that's kind of why we did it. So it's very, very, we're very passionate because it's a mission for us and it's a personal thing for us. It's not just, let's just do this because. So, yeah, and it's pretty exciting. Our daughter works for our company now, so it's a family affair. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What a legacy to leave for your family to really change the trajectory of health for you and your children.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. All right. So for those who maybe haven't deep dived into the world of diabetes, can you kind of orient us on what we're talking about here? Maybe the difference between type 1 and type 2 as well?
Yeah, so right now there's basically 3 types. They kind of came up with a third one here a little while ago. But type 1 is another name for is juvenile diabetes. So children get it. It's typically a genetic condition, autoimmune disease, where their body's just not producing enough insulin in the pancreas. So these kids have to start taking insulin injections at a very young age and take it for the rest of their life because their pancreas is not producing insulin. So luckily it's only 5 to 10% of diabetics are type 1. 90% or more diabetics are type 2. And that's more the adult-onset diabetes, and that's what's reversible. That's what we handle. And then type 3 diabetes is now what they're calling Alzheimer's or dementia, because there's a connection between high blood sugar and brain function that now high blood sugar can lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. So, yeah, that's pretty sad. We don't want that to happen either. So that's the difference between the 3.
Are you helping people with type 2 and 3?
Yes. So we want to make sure we get them before they get to type 3, obviously, right?
Right.
Because type 3, if the damage is too far gone, like a really advanced, dementia and Alzheimer's, we can't help that. But that's why they're calling it that now. But type 2 is reversible, making sure they don't advance to type 3. So that's why we handle that. So.
Yeah. I've heard type 2 diabetes also called lifestyle diabetes sometimes. Do you think that's an accurate name?
Oh, 100%. So it's type 2 is adult onset or lifestyle diabetes. It's 100% caused by the way your lifestyle has been. There's not a gene that causes it. So there's no genetic cop out. Oh, my mom has it, so I got it. Nothing I can do. Nuh-uh, not true. Type 1 is genetic, but type 2 is not. And that's a good news because it's a lifestyle disease, you change your lifestyle, you can reverse it. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. And luckily for us, 90% of diabetics fall in that category. And so we have the solution for that.
Yeah. What are the lifestyle factors leading up to a type 2 diabetes diagnosis that you see kind of as patterns in people's lives?
Well, it's mainly what they're eating. We have such a high carb, high fat, high sugar diet right now with sodas and everything's got carbs and a high fructose corn syrup. And it's just, there's hidden sugars in everything. And so eating that way for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, your body just becomes insulin resistant. That's another name for type 2 diabetes because your body starts resisting its own insulin. And when that happens, your blood sugar stays high, right? Because the insulin's supposed to bring the blood sugar down. And when your body resists your own insulin, now you have to start taking oral medications or artificial insulin to get that blood sugar down. And that's what happens. So yeah, it's typically the wrong foods, very high carbs, like a lot of pizza, pasta, rice, crackers, chips, tortillas, a lot of dairy products, a lot of soda, sugar, desserts, all of that stuff. Like every day, year after year, eventually you can develop diabetes. So that's what happens.
Yeah. Does your like activity level or other toxins like do they also kind of play a part in that, you feel
I
like?
mean, a small amount. I mean, it's not a huge factor of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we recommend our patients exercise, but no matter how much you exercise, you cannot exercise out a bad diet. It's not going to happen. So thinking, oh, I can eat a pizza and donuts and then go run on a treadmill for an hour. No, 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 no. It's not how it works. It doesn't counterbalance. So exercise is important, but you have to eat the right foods, take the right supplements. That's the secret sauce to make sure your blood sugar comes down. And exercise just kind of helps with that, but it's not a preventable thing by just exercising a lot. So eating crap, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've heard kind of a pretty shocking, I don't know if I would say it's a statistic, but some news in the health world about even children getting what is supposed to be like adult onset diabetes, but we're seeing, pre-diabetes, but also just an actual diagnosis of type 2 diabetes in children.
yeah, I mean, I blame like our society right now and, basically the parents. I mean, we've had knuckleheaded parents that feed their kids Happy Meals 5 nights a week and they let them play on their phone all day or video games. Like no one's outside. Like you go around any neighborhood now, like you don't see kids outside playing in the street, playing baseball, throwing a football. Like you don't see that hardly at all. Where I was growing up, that's all we did. Like our TB was get your butt outside and play, and that's not happening now. It's sad. So we're seeing kids that are in their teens that are obese, that are now with type 2 diabetic, that are 14, 15 years old. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
basically,
To me, that's just like, yeah, it's just like a huge like alarm, like big red alarm going off when I hear about stuff like that. I'm like, this is very serious. Like this should not be happening.
yeah, I mean, this day and age, come on, like, but that's it. We're in this fast food DoorDash age, right? Where everything is so easy. And like, mom and dad on the way home from work will stop by fast food, pick up the food, come home. They're exhausted. Have the kids eat like crappy food. Okay, now go in your room and play in your video games for the next 5 hours. I mean, it's just, you wonder, it's not a surprise that we're seeing that kind of epidemic now in kids too.
Yeah. So if you go to your conventional doctor and you get a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, what is kind of that conventional route of treatment that is given at that point?
Well, the first thing people need to know is that their primary doctor they're seeing, they're not trained in med school how to reverse diabetes. So that's the first thing to know is that they're trained to diagnose you and then prescribe medications. That's it. And they tell you, oh yeah, watch what you eat, kind of decrease your sugar, exercise a little bit, but keep taking those meds though. Like that's kind of how they're trained is to manage diabetes, not to reverse it.
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
Buy the sugar-free Jello now, not the regular Jello, right?
Yeah. So it's not the doctor's fault. Like I'm not blaming the doctors. Like you don't know what you don't know, right? We have a lot of physicians that do our program, but they learn how to do it outside of med school. Right? They took functional medicine training or some nutrition classes to learn how to do some of these things, but they sure weren't taught that in med school. So literally 99% of doctors have no idea it's reversible, so that's why when the biggest question we get when patients join our program is, how come my doctor never told me about this? And we have to tell them it's not their fault. They just didn't know. They're not trying to hide it from you. They literally don't know that it's reversible. So that's really how the typical medical approach is.
Yeah. I mean, you said, was it your uncle that wanted to just stick with his medication and not change?
My father-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, we've father-in-law.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know that like pharmaceutical medication is really just for managing symptoms, and it often comes with side effects. Have you seen these diabetes medications have pretty serious side effects for some people? Or
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like the example I give is, if you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, for 20 years, what do you think's going to happen? Like, nobody's surprised if you get lung cancer, right? I mean, your body, there's consequences to that behavior. Now, if you're taking 6, 7, 8 medications every day for 20, 30 years, there's going to be consequences. And the biggest one is kidney damage. So it doesn't matter whether it's a diabetic med, blood pressure, cholesterol, anything else. They all have one thing in common, is they cause stress on the kidneys. And that's why you see so many diabetics also start getting kidney damage. But the cool thing is, you get them off all the meds, now the kidneys start to improve because you're taking away the toxicity. So that's really what's cool about it. So yeah, all meds have side effects. And again, I get it that there's a purpose for meds. Like if someone doesn't want to do our program, it's a good thing the meds are there because it's keeping them alive, even though they got to deal with the consequences of that. So the medications serve a purpose, but for those people that say, I'm sick of these freaking meds, I want to get off of them, that's where we come in. So.
yeah, that makes sense. I love that. Because I think there are a lot of people out there like that, right?
Yeah.
They just don't know that there's another option. They don't want to do what they're doing. They don't feel great on it. They wish there was something else, but they haven't heard about another option. So
yeah. And then there's people like my father-in-law who knows you can reverse it, but says, I don't want to do that. I want to keep eating all the foods I like. I'll take my chances with my medications.
yeah,
That's okay. At least they know they're making
exactly.
the decision, right? That, okay, I know that's an option, but I'm choosing not to do it.
Right.
That's why we have a lot of our patients that join that heard about us 5 years ago and said, I'm okay. When I get worse, I'll give you a call. And guess what happens? 5 years later, okay, now I got neuropathy in my feet. I'm scared of getting my foot cut off. I need to do something. I got kidney damage. I don't want to go on dialysis. Can you help me now? So sometimes people have to get worse before they stop screwing around and take it seriously. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. They think they'll be just the lucky one that doesn't have really bad symptoms or, doesn't get worse. They'll manage it. They're going to be the one that manages it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you guys focus on type 2 diabetes reversal. What do you mean by reversal? I think that we should maybe clarify that because you hear that and you're like really? Like,
yeah.
what?
So reversing it means like if you're sitting there as a non-diabetic, your A1C is going to be 5.9 or lower, and you're not taking any diabetic meds. That's like what a regular non-diabetic where their A1C is. That's where mine is, probably where yours is, my wife. So we want to get people to that level where their A1C is 5.9 or lower and they're taking no diabetic meds. So it's literally like they're not diabetic. The only difference is those people, once they reverse it in our program, they have to keep eating the right way for the rest of their life to maintain that reversal. Otherwise, it'll come back again. If they start eating the wrong things, drinking sodas again, etc., it'll come right back because you can't cure type 2 diabetes, but you can reverse it. So another name is like putting it dormant or putting it into remission. So it's still there under the surface, but you can literally have no symptoms, normal blood sugar, no meds, just like a non-diabetic, but you really got to keep working at it to keep it at that level.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. I like that clarification between like cured and reversed. And I think that's a good mental thing for anybody listening that does have type 2 diabetes to know, like, this is something that you need to do long term, right? These changes are lifetime changes, which really, really all health, health changes and habits should be like, you should have a lifelong goal with those things anyway, right?
Exactly.
So the A1C, is that pretty much the only measurement that you clinical measurement that you go by?
Yeah, that's really the gold standard. I mean, there's other, like you measure insulin and all these other things, but that's just very simple. You get it below, 5.9 or lower with no meds, you are good to go. It's simple as that, and again, and these are when that happens, the blood pressure becomes normal, the cholesterol becomes normal, so their doctor is usually able to get them off the blood pressure and cholesterol meds too, once their diabetes gets better. That's what's really interesting about it. It's not just the diabetic meds. So,
yeah, I mean, that's huge. Like so many people also on statins and cholesterol medications and
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Blood pressure medication. So
Yeah, I mean,
love
there's such a connection between the high blood sugar and cardiovascular disease. That's why, I mean, we'll have doctors when they'll diagnose somebody as a diabetic, and even though they don't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol yet, they'll put them on those medications as a preventative because they know it's going to happen. So we call it the three P's in the pod, right? Diabetic meds, blood pressure, cholesterol that most people are on. But again, that's the good news. Once it starts coming down this way, their doctor's able to get them off all of it. And that is really cool when, they're on 6 or 7 meds and now they're on 0. That's awesome.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing. I love that. Hi, friends. I want to tell you about a new resource. Did you know that breast cancer is a problem? Of course you do, because 1 in 8 women will receive a breast cancer diagnosis. And we all know someone personally who's been affected by this. I started taking this pretty seriously a few years ago when I decided that I really wanted to come up with a breast health plan for myself. But when I went to look for information on how to do that, most of the information out there for women is about screenings and detection and not prevention. Knowing what I know about health, I knew that there had to be a way that I could really make my body resistant to disease and make my breast resistant to disease. After years of research, asking questions, learning, come to find out there actually is a lot that we can do as women to be proactive and pursue breast health 365 days a year. So I have decided to put this information into a guide because I really just don't see people talking about this. And I think women deserve to know the things that we can do that will really impact our health and reduce our risk of diagnosis. We talk about all kinds of things, and I get into over 30 pages worth of tips and practical things that you can be doing in your life that will really make a difference. And I really think that this can not just make a difference for you, but make a difference for the future generations of women in your family. If you want to learn more about this, it's called the 365 Breast Health Guide. You can get the link in the show notes, or you can go to dailywellnesscommunity.com. What could a new client expect working with you guys? How does it look compared to working with a conventional doctor? Or what is kind of your intake process?
Yeah, so before someone can join our program, they watch one of our free webinars that kind of explains the program, kind of lays out the foundation. And if they're interested, then they get to schedule a consultation with us. And that's where we go through on Zoom. It's very easy. It's all telemedicine. They don't need to go to a clinic. It's all from the comfort of their home. And we do a consultation. We customize the program for them, then sign them up. Now, once they're in, they get assigned a health coach that's with them the whole entire program. It's between 3 and 7 months long, depending on their severity. And so that coach is there for them 5 days a week, unlimited, to hold their hand, answer any questions, hold them accountable, praise them when they're doing great, kick them in the butt when they're not doing great, so just like a good coach does. And then once they're in, we give them, again, the list of all the foods they can eat and not eat. We call it our enjoy avoid list. Here's what you can enjoy. Here's what you got to avoid. And then we send them our nutritional supplements that they have to take. So all part of the program. We give them exercise recommendations, and that's what they do. So they have to check in with their coach at least once a week by phone or by email, right? Letting us know how they're doing. Like, how's their blood sugar? How's their blood pressure? How's their weight? You have to send in a daily food log once a week so we know what they're eating. So that's the way it keeps the patient kind of interacted with us so we know what's going on. And that's how we do it. And once the blood sugar starts coming down, which it will very quickly, once it gets below like 105 in the morning, that's when the coach will tell them, hey, it's time to call your doctor so they can start reducing the dose of your meds. And so then the doctor will gradually wean them off their medications as they're going through our 3 to 7 month program. So it's really, really cool. Very simple, very smooth. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hear 3 to 7 months, and I don't know, maybe somebody hears that and they think that's a long time. I think that's not a long time at all. I'm like, you're doing this in 3 to 7 months?
Exactly. Yeah, especially if you've been a diabetic for 15 years and we can reverse it in 5 months and get you off all your meds. That's nothing. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, what? That's pretty incredible. For your dietary recommendations and stuff, I mean, is it pretty much the same across the board? Have you found that like a certain diet pretty much works for everybody? Do you have to tailor it sometimes?
Yeah, for most people, it's the same. There will be some people we have to tweak a little bit. But yes, it's a lot easier than people think. You stop putting in the wrong food. You start putting in the right food, take the right supplements, exercise the right way. Guess what happens? Blood sugar comes down. It's just physiology, so there's not a lot of tweaking that you have to do because a body's a body, diabetic's a diabetic. Yeah, there's certain allergies and whatever. But, sometimes people make things way too complicated, and you don't really have to do that. Now, if we need to customize it for certain people, we will, but that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
So,
Why do you feel like supplements are necessary as part of the
well,
training?
because again, the diabetes, the high blood sugar, it starts affecting like literally every organ in your body: brain, kidneys, liver, spleen, like your stomach, the intestines, pancreas, like everything gets affected, every cell. And so damage is caused, right? And so it saps nutrients. And so the supplements we provide help support those areas, right? To help heal and kind of speed the healing and kind of supercharges the nutrients. And there's 87 different nutrients in our supplements. It's not just the one little bottle with like chromium and cinnamon and something like that. This is very, very robust stuff. Now, they only have to take our supplements while they're going through our program. Because once it's reversed and the body's back to normal, they just have to keep eating the right way. That will maintain them. So they don't have to keep taking our supplements every day the rest of their life, just while they're going through the program. We've just seen that really speeds things up. And again, our average person gets better in 3 to 7 months. It's really, really fast when you consider how sick some of these people are when they come see us.
Yeah. I think I read in part of your website or something like that that you do some continuous glucose monitoring. Is that part of the process or for everybody?
Well,
Or
yeah, I mean, if the patient has that, then we'll utilize that, right? Some
okay.
people have that thing stuck in their arm and so they can check their blood sugar all the time. But I'm going to say still probably 70% of our patients just use the old fashioned glucometer where they poke their finger in the morning and they use it that way. Because again, our goal is even if you have the continuous glucose monitor, we want to get you off of that thing. We want you to have that thing stuck in your arm 24/7 forever. It's not, we want to get people off of that. And we want to make it where you don't have to check your blood sugar every day anymore because now it's reversed.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we definitely, the patients have to check in with us at least once a week and give us their blood sugar reading. So whether it's with their glucometer or with this continuous glucose monitor, that's how we monitor how they're doing through the program.
Are they with the glucometer? Are they checking that after meals before?
No. They just check it once a day in the morning, just a fasting reading.
Yeah.
So again, when they're following our program, they don't have to check it after the meals because we know they're eating the right things. Right? It's not necessary to, and again, it makes people sometimes too anxious for, especially with the CGMs where they can check their blood sugar like every 10 seconds. Oh my gosh, my blood sugar went up. Like, of course, it's going to fluctuate. It's okay. Relax, So that's why we tell them, don't worry about anything except that fasting reading in the morning. Because, no matter what you eat, it's going to go up a little bit because everything's going to have a little bit of glucose in it. It's okay. Don't freak out over it. So it's not necessary. Yeah. Now, I can see if someone's taking a lot of insulin during the day, like, and they have to take some insulin after breakfast, lunch, dinner, the CGM is good because it's a lot easier to see where they are. But most people just on oral meds, just take it once a day in the morning. That's all you need to do. It's very easy.
Yeah. Can you give us any more info on the diet? Like what kinds of things are you guiding them on? Is it kind of more of a macros diet or more of a food groups diet or?
Well, if you want to compare it to anything, it's probably closer to the paleo diet that's out there. Of course, came out like 4 years after we did our program, but that's kind of, if you want to call it that, but it's mainly getting rid of, you can eat fruits, you can eat vegetables, you can eat meat. Those are the main things you can eat, and you got to pretty much avoid everything else. Nuts and seeds are okay, beans are okay, but obviously the bad carbs, dairy products, sugar, soda, all that's got to go away. So those are the main things. So, and the cool thing is though, our program is not a diet. So as long as they're eating from our enjoy list, they can eat as much as they need to every day to stay satisfied.
Yeah.
So don't overeat, but don't undereat. If you're ever hungry, right, they're doing it wrong. It's not make sure you're not counting 1,000 calories. That's it. No, see, nobody can sustain that for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You got to make it easy enough where people can do it every day forever. And that's the critical thing where it's not a diet like this. Obviously, if you need to lose some weight, you will with our program because you're eating better. But that's just a nice side effect of our program. That's not the goal, right? The goal is reverse your diabetes because there's people that are 30 pounds overweight that have reversed their diabetes. So this is not a fat or skinny thing. This is like, okay, let's get the right foods in and eventually you'll kind of get to your normal weight, but that's not the goal. Oh, you weigh 200 pounds. We got to get you down to 150 or it's not going to work. Like we don't do any of that nonsense. It's not a weight loss program.
Yeah.
So.
And is part of your conversation with your clients as well, like educating them on kind of, I guess, the the wide range of benefits of doing this, just like we were talking about with, your blood pressure is going to get better, your cholesterol is going to get better, and all that kind of thing. Because I mean, I keep going back to that in my mind. I'm like, this is really amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because we're focused in on the diabetes, but we're also like having all these other benefits. So
Yeah. I mean,
are they learning that just as a side effect, or is that something that you kind of
oh yeah, we actively tell them that. That's one of the benefits of why a lot of people will join, because we say, hey, this is not just going to get you off your diabetic meds, but most likely all the other ones too. And that's a huge benefit. And plus the energy level goes up better. They start sleeping better. They're not waking up 2 or 3 times a night to go pee because they're diabetic, right? The sex drive improves. For guys that have ED, we see the ED reverse when the diabetes is reversed. I mean, this is like, there's some major life-changing things that happen, because 66% of, or 63% of men that actually have diabetes eventually develop ED.
Yeah.
Because the high blood sugar affects the metabolism, the hormones, the circulation. That can cause ED. That's a big thing. So reversing that in women, the sex drive goes down. So that's one of the biggest things we see when they're finished our programs. Like, oh my gosh, my sex drive is like through the roof. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's what's supposed to happen. And they don't even know how bad they were feeling until they start feeling good again. Because some of these people have been feeling bad for 20 years or more. And they forgot what it's like to have energy and have a high sex drive and feel good and have a good night's sleep. So it's really cool when they see the results like that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like this is really powerful. Like somebody's listening to this right now and being like, this is what I need. So I'm just so excited that like I know light bulbs are going off right now. Do you work with people that maybe are just having trouble with glucose regulation? Maybe they're pre-diabetic, or do you really only take people with the diagnosis?
Well, yeah, if someone's pre-diabetic, I'll be honest with you, that's not even a challenge for us. That's so easy to fix pre-diabetes. Like we have our own pre-diabetes program, because a lot of people watch our webinar that are pre-diabetic, but they don't need to do our full 3, 5, 7 months. They can reverse their pre-diabetes in a month easily. They just do some simple things. So yeah, we have that. But again, that's not a challenge for us. It's way like, and plus there's a bunch of other people that do pre-diabetes and diabetes management. That's not our thing. Like we really focus on, that's what our patent is on, is reversing type 2. But again, you can imagine, if we know how to reverse type 2, pre-diabetes is a piece of cake for us. So yeah, so we have that kind of program. It's very, very easy.
All right.
Oh,
Well, with all this knowledge and experience working with people in this field, like what are you doing for your own health? I'm curious, like kind of what your own lifestyle habits look like. What's really important to you to focus in on for your own health and longevity?
yeah. Well, I'm 61 years old, Alicia. So,
You look great.
and again, I've got heart disease, cancer, diabetes, a lot of crazy things that run in my family. But obviously with what I know, if I'm not in shape, then I'm pretty much a hypocrite, right? I better be walking my talk, because I lose all credibility if I'm sitting here, smoking cigarettes, eating crap, and I'm 50 pounds overweight, right? Which a lot of doctors, by the way, are, and they're trying to give advice to their patients. It's pretty sad. So what I do is, my typical routine is, my wife and I, we work out 5 days a week together. My wife's going to be 58 next week. 58 next week. Yeah. So I'm 60.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah. And so we work out 5 days a week, and what we do with working out is we just work out one upper body part per day. So like one day it's biceps, one day triceps, one day shoulders, but every day we also do one part of our legs. We want to make sure we keep our legs strong. So one day leg extensions, leg curls, squats, something like that. That's our exercise routine. Takes us about a half hour, real quick. We luckily, where we live, our building that we have, our office, we have a nice fitness center in the bottom of our building. So it's very easy for us to do it. As far as eating, I literally will have a smoothie for lunch, which is like a super green with some protein powder. That's my lunch. I'll have dinner. I'll have very high protein dinner, either some chicken, some steak, with some tomatoes and lettuce or some vegetables, etc. And that. Sometimes a little bit of pasta I'll throw in there as well. And then I don't eat again until my smoothie the next day at noon. So I don't have breakfast. So I do basic intermittent fast. My last meal is about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. I don't eat again until noon the next day. So again, for me at my age, that just works for me, where I'm able to kind of give my body a rest as far as digesting food, for that intermittent fast every day. So I just have the two meals a day. And that's kind of what we do. So it works out really well. And, so again, when someone can go on that kind of a plan when they reverse their diabetes as well, but that's what we do. And my smoothie actually has all the vitamins and minerals, et cetera, and my super greens that I take. Yeah. So it's very simple. Yeah. And so once in a while, we're not fanatics. Like we'll go out and we'll have, we'll split a dessert or something once a week, but we just I don't drink soda. I don't smoke. Don't take any kind of medications whatsoever. For us, it's like medications don't exist. If we get sick, we'll just take a vitamin C, we'll take some vitamin D, we'll drink some water, we'll rest. And guess what? It goes away in a couple of days. Like, so we don't do antibiotics or any of that stuff, flu shots, nothing. We're like 100% natural, our family. That's how we raised our daughter. And that's how you can be, but the average person who's in their 60s, man, they're taking 3, 4, 5 medications and they think that's normal. And guess what? It's not. It's common, but it's not normal.
Exactly. Yeah. What would you say some like warning signs are that people should like kind of pay attention to, if, health wise, that they should maybe get some help at this point? Like this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. You might need some professional guidance here.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing that everybody should be doing is like going to their medical doctor and getting some lab work done. Get every single year. You may even go to your doctor if you don't want to go to your doctor, but get some lab work done, like a full comprehensive metabolic panel. So you can see what's going on. You'll see your lipids, cholesterol, blood sugar, and that'll kind of give you, they'll show right on there the levels that are high. They'll have a big H next to it so you can't even miss it. And that'll be your red flag, like, oh my gosh, something's going on with my kidneys or my blood sugar's high. And then I would suggest then going to somebody who's got some functional medicine training who can help you with eating the right foods, taking the proper supplements, what exercise to do. And there are some medical doctors that do that. But obviously, if they're diabetic, come to us. Like, we'll help you. We're telemedicines. We can help you no matter where you live in the US. So, but that's the biggest thing I would suggest is get some lab work done every single year to see what's going on. Because you could have issues starting where there's no symptoms yet. If you wait until, oh, I feel this, I feel that, I feel this, you waited way too long. So.
Good point. Yeah. I like that advice. I was going to ask you about working with you, and your telehealth clinic there. So explain that to us a little bit, how we can work with you. And
so it's real easy for people that want to just watch our free webinar that we have, multiple times per week. Just go to reverseyourdiabetes.com. Very simple website, reverseyourdiabetes.com. They can just click on it, register for one of our free webinars, and that's the first step. And then you'll learn about what's going on, and then you can decide if you think it's a good fit for you. Then again, they have that one-on-one consultation with us, and we customize the program, and we get you going.
One thing you can work with somebody anywhere?
Pardon me?
You can work with anyone, like doesn't matter what state they're in?
Doesn't matter where they are, all 50 states right now. Because again, everything is done virtually with our telemedicine platform. So they don't need to go to a doctor's office, right? They'll do either phone calls or emails or do Zoom calls. So it's very, very easy, convenient. That's really nice. And the one thing I forgot to mention too, that's going to blow your brain if you didn't see this on our website, is that we actually guarantee results too. So when someone follows our program as directed, if their diabetes is not reversed, they get 100% refund plus $1,000 just for trying our program.
Wow.
So better than 100% money back guarantee. So they literally have nothing to lose by trying. Either works or it doesn't. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to pick your brain about is kind of the rise in popularity of GLP-1s. This whole diabetes topic is very relevant to that. People that are used to just reaching for a medication are likely to at least ask their doctor about that because it's on commercials on TV all the time. And everybody is posting about it on social media. So what do you want us to know about GLP-1s?
Yeah, well, again, GLP-1s, it's just another diabetic med. There's nothing special about it. It's getting a lot of popularity more so for losing weight than it is even for diabetes because, there's dozens of diabetic meds, metformin, insulin, whatever. I mean, there's always, every 6 months, it seems like Big Pharma comes out with a new diabetic med. And hey, they're geniuses at pushing it and marketing it, so hats off to them. But again, it's just the flavor of the day right now is GLP-1s. Again, it's just one of those things where it doesn't matter what it is. Our patients don't want to be on anything. They don't want to be on insulin, GLP-1s, oral meds. They want to get off of all of it. So people that want to go on that, they're really not going to be a good candidate for our program, because they're looking for the shortcut. That's the same people that want to do gastric bypass surgery to lose weight, or they want to do the lap band. They want the shortcut instead of doing what they need to do to reverse this. And guess what? There's side effects to GLP-1s. I mean, last year, already class action lawsuits are starting against Ozempic and GLP-1s because it's causing intestinal issues, kidney issues. So it's just another medication. So it's nothing special. It's just, it's just popular now. It's the flavor of the week right now is that one. So 6 months will be another one that's, that's more popular than that.
Yeah, good. Thanks for your input on that.
Yeah.
Thought it would be good to talk about specifically since it is so popular and well known right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have an example or two of like a client success story and kind of what happened for them?
Yeah, I'll give you like the craziest one that I remember. This is probably like 12 or 13 years ago. A guy came in, a really big guy. He was like 6'6", weighed about 360 pounds. But the crazy thing was he was taking over 300 units of insulin per day. And get this, his A1C was still 12, right? Normal is under 6. So even taking that much insulin, it was still a 12. So he was like, his doctor's like, it doesn't matter how much insulin we put you on, nothing's touching your blood sugar. It's just like, you're so insulin resistant. So he was resisting his own insulin and the artificial insulin. So he's like, what do I do? And so I'm telling you this story because normally we don't want to turn anybody away because I know how the body can heal. And I've seen miracles happen. But when this guy came, like, I'm actually doubting myself. I don't know if we can help this guy because it was so bad, right?
Yeah.
7 months later, off of all of his insulin, dropped 100 pounds. A1C was normal. So so I said to myself, don't ever doubt it again. Like, as long as people do the right thing, they can be really, really sick and their body will still heal. It's just miraculous. Right. That's the biggest one I've seen. Another guy, Frank, his was good. Came in, his A1C was like 8.6, got it down to under 6, but he was on 30 units of insulin. He was also taking Januvia. He weighed 270 something pounds. And his waist was 50-inch waist. After a program of 5 months, A1C was normal. His weight was 205, went from 270 something to 205, and his waist went from 50 down to 40-inch waist. And he was having neuropathy, tingling in his fingers and his feet, and he had blurred vision. All of that went away. Got off all the meds. So again, there's just like, we have thousands of these kind of stories. It's very, very common because the symptoms for a diabetic are pretty much the same. And so it's a common thing. Like, they're like this, and now they're off all the meds. A1C is normal, symptoms went away. So it's just like a repetitive thing, but it's still exciting for us when we get all these success stories coming in on a daily basis. It's really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. This is really, it's so encouraging to hear about, like, when you see so much happening around you as far as, the statistics just climbing with all kinds of diseases, but, diabetes definitely as well. And so it's just so encouraging to hear about people reversing that, and not just reversing that, but getting away from all these other medications. And wow, it's just such an uplifting conversation. I'm so excited to share this with people. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you really want people to know?
I mean, if you're a type 2 diabetic watching this, I just want to make sure you really get it, that it is reversible. Doesn't matter what your doctors told you, what you've heard from anybody else, right? We've been reversing it for 16 years all over the world. We can do it for you too. So it is reversible. It's not genetic. So that's great news. And just check out the webinar. You got nothing to lose by checking it out. But That's the first thing, is to believe that it is reversible, and you can see it results very, very quickly in the program. So,
all right. Thank you, Dr. Hockings, for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to today's episode on the Daily Wellness Podcast. We hope that you found it helpful for your own wellness journey. And if so, we'd love for you to leave a review. Then come back and listen for review shoutouts on upcoming episodes. For more information, check out the show notes and connect with us on our website, dailywellnesscommunity.com.